my channel! It's Happy Irish, and today we're gonna talk about bullet journals. So, I've been bullet journaling for over maybe around 4 years now, or maybe 3 years. Anyhow, but I started back in 2017. This was my very first bullet journal. So, if you don't know about bullet journal, I have a link down below when Carol Ryder did a really excellent job convincing me to start bullet journaling 3 years ago. And that's exactly what happened. So bullet journal for me is literally just, a planner, a notebook where you can just literally put everything that you want to put. So whatever works for you basically. It's a system you can organize your schedule, put artsy fartsy schmancy stuff in there, decorate it like a scrapbook, whatever works for you. I mainly use mine for scheduling dates, appointments, tasks, anything that I want to remember because I am very forgetful. I have a memory of 56 megabytes memory card like that. So I can't remember things, so I have to put them down in my journal. That way I am accountable for it and I would do the task and I would be able to complete it, whatever it is. It mainly actually make it as a diary if you want to do it like that. But it's mostly where I put my shifts back when I still work for a shift kind of job. So if I have, because I worked as part-time before, so if I have a shift that day, I would put that in. And then what are my tasks for the day? So basically anything that I need to do or to complete, like what I've said earlier, and then any house chores that I needed to do. So I also put here any work targets I need to work on, all that stuff. And if you can see, basing it on my journal, I'm not really that artsy fartsy kind, but I basically just try to decorate it to the best of my ability. So yeah, I usually put some snippets of, like, if we were doing something, if we are out for a day trip or we attended a concert, I usually would put pictures of it as well, just for memory and keepsake. But yeah, that is the bullet journal. Other people will use bullet journal as a form of therapy, so they would use it to track their habits. If they're trying to practice new habits, it's a good system to do. Other people would create their journal into art forms. I've seen like awesome YouTube channels who is dedicated into doing that, like teaching you how to plan, how to make your bullet setup really good, and basically pimping it up. But yeah, that's my bullet journal story. To me, starting bullet journal, I am one of those people who would just buy planners at the start of the year. If you're guilty of that, let me know down below. But I'm one of those people who just literally would start planners for maybe a month or two and I would never use it again. I would never touch the planner again. I get intimidated with planners now because mainly of how structured they look. So it has date, day, months, and so. Whereas with bullet journal, if there are certain months where you don't feel like bullet journaling, you can completely skip it and then work back on when you decided to, when you find the urge again to bullet journal. As for me, I've been constantly doing it for the last 3 years. I've never skipped a month, even though no matter how hectic it is, there are some days where I don't feel like jotting down my thoughts, and that's completely fine. I just put the task that I have completed on that day. That way when I look back, I'm able to tell that at least this day I was feeling like terrible. I still finished a couple of tasks, so I should not feel bad. There are days where I just completely skip it. Like I don't put too much. Like this one, say for example, it was my rest day, and I basically just put down what I have completed. Sometimes what I do is I would literally just put a task just to put a check mark on it, just to make sure that I have pinned it down. I love doing bullet journals. In 2020, so by the way guys, those 3 bullet journals I have shown you are the last 3 years. So my bullet journal kind of grow with me because I kind of developed some kind of style, but just messy still. It's still like organized chaos. Back when I very first started, I don't know what I was doing, so I have like literally a table of content for everything that's inside my journal. And then I realized that I don't really need those because, you know, I can just easily flip the pages whenever I want to. Well, it's kind of handy, say you want to check what was your plans last year, say for example, so it kind of is helpful, but I don't really do that. I just literally just browse through the pages and easily find it. But as you see, this was the time when the bullet journal was so like in kind of famous kind of thing, and that's when I went crazy with all of the washi tapes, stickers, collections of pens. I've hoarded a lot of pens for this, and then I realized that over time I actually kind of like the easy, simple approach to bullet journal, because the problem with this is that I run out of space for notebooks. Like the year is not yet finished, but I've already completed the notebook. I don't want to do that. Well, there are missing pages there that I did not use, but again, I don't want to do that. Similar that happened to this journal here, where I completely went overboard in decorating and doing like extra pages here and there for like quotes like that, or something about this, or this one. So this is when I was brainstorming for my YouTube channel back in 2018 that never existed, but I still put it in there. I don't know why. But anyhow, that's one good use of bullet journal, to brainstorm ideas. If you have any plans, like say you're planning to do a trip somewhere, eventually, hopefully that happens one day, you could also put them here in your bullet journal. When I packed my stuff for the Philippines, I literally had a dedicated page for it, like what to pack and, you know, like what to bring back home and what to buy when I get there and stuff like that. Like I have that PH to-do list. Like these are all the things that I was able to do while I was there. That way I cannot miss a thing. If I want to try a food, or if I miss a specific place I want to visit again, I could do so. Yeah, I also have a dedicated page every month for my bullet journal where I'll just put all of the things that I want to be grateful for, or anything that I would reflect on, or any random thoughts that I have realized. It's just weird, but yeah, I put it in there as well, just so when I look back later on, I would say, okay, that's a good thought. But you know, that's just me. But yeah, it kind of like evolved with how I basically got over, like this one is like when I'm just really lazy, I would just randomly decorate it just to make it a little bit fancy, just to motivate me to keep going with bullet journaling. And sometimes I would put like quotes and stuff. But yeah, but now in my 2020 bullet journal, because of the pandemic, I literally still have, this is the first bullet journal that I did not use that much. So I still have this much of page that is not used. So what I did is I have sectioned this instead to our house or home project. So I'm currently jotting down everything that we're doing, the stages that we're going through. Though it's not really me who's actively doing it, it's this other person. Anyhow, so as I was saying, for 2020, because of the pandemic, nothing much happens. We used to go usually for a trip to Sydney for maybe a month, not really a month long, but usually we go down there for maybe 3 times or 2 times in a year. We usually have like a nice trip in between the year, but we can't really do that. But we did have one trip this year, which was the Blues Fest in the Snowy Mountains, and I was able to do that. Was able to do a section of it. So this one, and again, you can do it in a scrapbook style, where you can literally put lots of photos. For these photos, I actually use a device for it. In my bullet journal that you've seen, this is what I use, this guy HP Sprocket. It's a little bit old already because I've been using it for the last 2 years, or I think ever since I've started my bullet journal. I'm not 100% sure, but this is the guy that I've been using. It's basically a zinc paper kind of photo printer. So it doesn't require any special kind of ink. You just literally have to purchase the paper from any electronic store. I'm not sure if this is available in the Philippines, but you could probably check out Shopee, Lazada. They might have a different kind of brand, but do your research, okay? There's so many devices like this now out in the market. But I purchased this 3 years ago, and this is what I use to print photos from my phone so that I could put them in my bullet journal. It's been really handy, except now it does sucks because the battery keeps on running out in a matter of just 10 minutes of using it. It used to be able to print maybe around 30 photos before it would go on low battery when it's still new. But it's expected. It's like a 2-3 year old device, so that's why. But it's still handy to have. I would still recommend you, venturing out to any other brands if there's any other good brands. Purchase a Sprocket or a zinc printer. When it comes to notebook, I am using Scribbles That Matters mainly because I like the cover of it. Basically, I've also used Leuchtturm during my first year of trying bullet journal. I did try to use a cheap notebook, but it's just that when you're using notebooks like this that you can easily just get from the supermarket, there's no accountability. I don't know, it's just me. It's more of if I get a $30 notebook for my journal, I would likely use that more often just to get the value of my money because of how I think. Then if you buy an $8 notebook, it's still up to you. You can definitely start with any notebooks you have. You don't have to go into if you're just trying to figure it out if it will work or not. I would suggest getting a cheaper notebook and not going into a $30 or $20 notebook. But yeah, I'm using Scribbles That Matter mainly because I like the pages. It's a little bit thicker than the Leuchtturm one, and I don't see it bleed that much. It still bleeds, if you can see. You can still see ghosting and the shadowing of pens, but it doesn't bleed at all if you're just using any gel pens or any felt tip pens. It's fine for that, but it's just nice. It's just the writing experience is nice on a good quality notebook. And like what I've said, if I have used a cheaper notebook, maybe by now I would have not been able to do complete bullet journal. There are still lots of options to do digital bullet journal. It's at the end of the day, whatever works for you. It's your system to do your bullet journaling either digitally or by paper. I like paper mainly because I could look back into it and I could browse, and I feel like when I write stuff I'm more accountable and I tend to complete the task when I pin it down. So that's why I opted for the bullet journal. I could talk so much all day about bullet journal, but what I'm trying to do now is I will go ahead and show you how I would set up my 2021 bullet journal. So you can come along and then I'll show you how I usually set it up. Okay? On this part of the video, I'll be doing a quick voiced over. I will show you. I have set up my bullet journal for 2021 quickly with you guys. Thank you for hanging around. I have added a new page in the front section of the journal. I've added an end of year reflection. I used to put it at the end part of the notebook, but I decided that because I'm actually using an entire notebook for the entire year, why not put it up front, and I'll just fill it out at the end of the year. That way when I'm scanning through the pages, I could just easily see it, what was the lessons I learned or what were my reflections all throughout the year and kind of thing. Fill it out at the end of the year only, so I'll leave it empty until the end of the year. And then I've basically made it simple, easy, and no frills. I just highlighted couple of things, colored couple of things just to accentuate it, but nothing too much. And then I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I like it nice and easy. Like what I've said, I would prefer my journal to be functional and not artsy fartsy anymore. I've gone through that phase. But if I get bored around this layout, I might interchange it, and maybe I'll dedicate a month if I am in the mood to create a more elaborate or more artsy spread, depending on how I go. I have set up the monthly spread already in this video with you guys, and the very first week of January, my word for the year, or the phrase for the year that I'll try to incorporate 2021 is taking action, taking chances, and having courage, because I find myself that I easily would give up if I find task difficult to do. If I find it difficult, I would not do it. So just to encourage me more to keep trying and keep going, I put that there, just a reminder. And then also I have made the snaps of the month, or the photos of the month, into a complete 2 pages section of my January. That way I could take more photos, put it in there for memories, and it's nice. It's always nice to look back on what happened that entire month of January. I know it's not going to be as exciting as last year because we don't have any events to go to, but it's still good. It's still a nice practice to always take photos to capture moments and memories. I know I'm sounding a little bit cheesy now, but you know what I mean. And then I've just made it simple for the weekly layout. I just literally give each day a big chunk. I'm gonna try to avoid doing what I'm usually doing now, which is just incorporating as many days as possible onto like a spread. I'm gonna try to write more thoughts into my journal on a daily basis. I find that it's actually good for my mental health to just write down and scribble down. If I want to put a little bit of calligraphy in there or art in there, I could do so as well. So I'm gonna try to keep that layout for as long as I can until I get bored of it, basically. And then here I am now showing you a quick flip through of the entire bullet journal 2021 setup. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, thank you so much for watching. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you have any video ideas, suggestions, questions, you can let me know down below. And if you happen to watch the entire video, please don't be shy to say hi in the comments sections as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.